and DK Metcalf are capable of this season? Ben?
Steeler Nation family, I am giving you guys all this why to be excited and why this is going to be like those two could go crazy. And Aaron's has some great receivers, don't get me wrong, but he hasn't had to do like this either. I'm watching them at practice and it wasn't all perfect. They're still working through things, you know. When they get going,
really,
I'm telling you, it's going to be something special. If he can have the time to throw the ball, you're going to see some crazy stuff happen. There are some weapons, and Johnny Smith didn't even practice. And talking to Coach T, he's like, Ben.
Really?
He gives me that Ben. Doesn't really give me anything, just give Ben. Ben.
Now, I'm an active listener, and he said, if he has time to throw the ball, just that little
Molly,
caveat.
that if is doing God's work in that sentence.
Okay. Yes. Kimberly, I'm starting with you. Hi, Mina's back here with us. Are we sleeping on these Steelers heading into the season? Because I feel like we're living in a world of extremes with our expectations for this team.
So I might say something that will blow Cece's mind. Maybe the Steelers are the team we're sleeping on the most. And the reason I say that is because we look at the
snoring on.
He's asleep on the Steelers. I think because when I look at this team, what's the expectations for Aaron Rodgers? What does he need to do? I don't need vintage Aaron Rodgers. We're not going to get that. I think, Mina, you mentioned sort of like point guard type of QB play. We just want competent quarterback play for the Steelers because they haven't had it in years past, and they've still managed to eke into the playoffs. So I think when you look, again, the ceiling and the floor, I think this is a team that people are sleeping on because we think Aaron Rodgers will be so bad. But what if he's decent? I think Mike Tomlin has made it work with a lot less.
When was the last time he was good? Like really good?
2021.
Okay. Mina?
I don't think people are sleeping on the Steelers because I think the majority of people correctly apprehend that this is a team that might squeak into the playoffs, and that's about it. Same team that it's been for the last few years. I don't think anyone thinks they're going to suck. No one does. But I don't think anyone thinks they're going to win a Super Bowl. This is a team that routinely wins a lot of games under Mike Tomlin, and he gets a lot of credit for that. But I think the idea that they're going to suddenly be better than they've been in the past few years is based on the false belief that you're getting Rodgers, who I mentioned earlier, Kimberly, that he just needs to be competent. That's fine. But even if he is, let's say he is average and it's a point guard, the run game looks a little better, we still think this team can go toe-to-toe with the likes of the Ravens, the Bills, the Chiefs. I do not think so. I also struggle to see how the defense, by the way, has fixed the issue I talked about earlier, the struggles versus Baltimore in big games. It's a fine team. I don't know what to say. I know that's not an exciting take, but they're okay. And I think it's fair to say they're okay, and I think that is the most common perception of this squad.
I never want to be described as, it's a fine team. With Mina and that tone. She's a fine host. She's fine. So politically...
That's like saying they got a good personality.
Politically correct.
The Steelers have a good personality.
That's the word.
Yeah.
When they're nice. They're nice. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You think they're going to suck? You think they're going to be bad?
I don't think they're going to be very good. I think we're looking at Mike Tomlin's first losing season in 19 years of being the head coach in Pittsburgh.
Can I just ask you one question before you expound on that? To Mina's point, I'm curious. Say we put one of the top quarterbacks in the league on this team, right? Pick whoever you want. How far is this team going? How good is this team? Forget the Aaron Rodgers piece and all of it, because we're putting it all on him, but it's a team sport.
Yeah, I think there's some age regression on the defensive side of the ball, and they've tried to address that, especially in the secondary. They bought over Juan Thornhill in free agency, and so we'll see how that ends up happening. I think it's a net neutral to swap out for Jalen Ramsey and Minkah Fitzpatrick. I probably would have kept Minkah, but they made the decision to do that because they wanted to bring Jonnu Smith on the offensive side of the ball as well. I just don't see how this situation that Aaron Rodgers is parachuting into from a personnel standpoint is going to be markedly better than what he had with the New York Jets over the last couple of years. You're basically banking the improvement that you're going to see in Rodgers and the improvement in the overall team success on the reputation of Mike Tomlin. And I'm sorry, that's just not enough based on what I've seen last year and over the last half decade. It hasn't been good from the Pittsburgh Steelers. They lost 5 straight games to end last season. I get people talking about the numbers that Aaron Rodgers had, 3,700 yards passing, 28 touchdowns. Well, here's the thing. Between Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, the Pittsburgh Steelers had the same type of production when it comes to total touchdowns. So I just don't know that it's going to be better. And I do think you have the chance that it could be significantly worse.
Kimberly, I got something for you. You respond, but I want to get into Mike Tomlin.
No, you talk about what they were last year. Did they make the playoffs?
Yes.
Like, at the end of the day, you can say what you want about the standard should be higher. I 100% agree the standard in Pittsburgh should be higher. We shouldn't be looking at Mike Tomlin and non-losing seasons as the metric. But again, he has done better with worse. So when I look at Aaron Rodgers, I understand he's going to be 42 December 2nd or whatever it is. I understand he's older. I get it. But I'm not expecting MVP Aaron Rodgers. But I also have seen this team. I've been around the AFC North a lot.
She has. I can co-sign that.
I have seen this Steelers team with Ben Roethlisberger on one leg literally limp into the play. I've seen it happen. So my thing is, based off of that, if Aaron Rodgers is competent and somewhat good, and DK, my only thing with DK is I think he's phenomenal, but who's on the other side? If I'm a defense, it's okay, cut that off. Make sure you figure out how to neutralize DK if you can, and then make them, stop the run game or whatever. But I just don't think they have enough weapons on offense. I think that's part of it also.
Mina, let me come to you on this, because we all know Mike Tomlin. He's revered, respected around the league, never had a losing season, and the longevity and consistency that he's had. But do you feel like he is on the hot seat? They could potentially be looking at a new voice there.
I do, and I want to be clear, that's not completely an indictment on Mike Tomlin. This is kind of a two things can be true situation. He can still be a phenomenal coach who would be desired by more than half of the league if he was a free agent, and he might not be the right coach for this version of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because, Kimberly talked about them limping into the playoffs. That just feels like it's been the story of this team forever. And if you made the switch, I'm not saying that you would see immediate improvement. You probably wouldn't. It would probably get worse before it gets better. But it's possible that he is better suited to coach a team with an established quarterback situation. Whereas this team, it feels like if they don't make any noise this year, and I say making noise, I'm not talking about having a winning record, they would be best served by ripping the Band-Aid and really rethinking what they're doing at quarterback. Because with Tomlin, I think you've seen just that slightly above average record long enough to feel like it's going to be more of the same.
Yeah, it's not good enough. It's not good enough for what the Pittsburgh Steelers want. And if you look at the track record of the organization, this is around the time in a coach's tenure where they look to move on, right? You go from Chuck Noll to Bill Cowher to now Mike Tomlin. You're talking about right around that 2 decades mark. Before the organization is bringing in a new voice to be the head coach. And so I do think it's that time. And beyond that, I think the track record is the track record, right? Mike Tomlin ain't won a playoff game since Barack Obama was in office, right? He's got the third.
I love when we bring up the president.
He's third all-time in the most consecutive seasons without a playoff win behind Jim Mora and Marvin Lewis. He's second all-time with 8 one-and-done postseason appearances, trailing only Marty Schottenheimer. That's not the company that you want to be in. So I do think it's time for a new voice. You couple that with the fact that the Pittsburgh Steelers are likely going to be in the quarterback business next year's NFL draft. It just makes sense to align the organization, new head coach, new quarterback, and move forward. It could be reminiscent of what happened with Andy Reid in the Philadelphia Eagles. They moved on from Andy Reid. Didn't mean that Andy Reid still couldn't coach. But it was the right thing for the organization in terms of transitioning, turning that thing over. They ended up winning a couple of Super Bowls after that. So I think it could be a similar scenario for Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. Don't think he's going to get fired. They would frame it as a mutual parting of ways, but it could be time for them to move on in Pittsburgh.
You might be right. 2 things could be true. If Mike Tomlin doesn't want to go anywhere, I don't see Mike Tomlin going anywhere. I feel like he's the one head coach in the NFL where things are different. And the fans have been talking about him for years, wanting him out, and it hasn't happened. I think he should want out. He should have wanted out a couple years ago after Big Ben, but he didn't. So I think if he wants to stay, he'll be back.
All right, we'll keep it rolling here. We're going to our nation's capital since we're talking about presidents. We're Terry McLaurin.